Every skyline has a story. Behind every bold structure, there is someone who has taken even the bolder steps. Today, I take this pleasure to welcome Mr. Pankaj Keswani, whose work speaks louder than his words. I welcome you, sir.
Thank you.
So, I just wanted to know the moment you have been educated, you have studied in St. Xavier and then Sydenham and then Symbiosis in Pune,
Yeah.
right? Once you completed your MBA, when you stood across the crossroads, what actually was crossing inside your mind about your life, career, future?
If I have to say it in a single sentence, I'd say that I wanted to be the best in whatever I took up.
Amazing.
My father told me when we were very young and in our growing up years that whatever you do in life, son, I don't mind. But see that you're the best in whatever you do.
Right.
You want to be a doctor, but be the best doctor.
Okay.
Right? So we were given the freedom to choose what we had to do, but as long as we promised that we would work our guts out to ensure that, we were the best in what we did. So when I finished my MBA and I came out, the most factor in my mind was, whatever I do, I want to do well.
Okay.
And I want to do it where, decades later, I can stand proud of what I have done.
Right.
And my family would be, and the community at large would be benefited by what I did.
Right.
And that was really the aim.
Right.
I didn't have a goal that I have to reach a particular stage at this period of time.
Right.
Or I have to go, like how nowadays you think I want to be a unicorn by, in the next 1 year. We didn't have any of those kind of goals 40 years ago. We were just came out of graduate school, and the idea was to do well in life as we went there. So that really was
okay.
Entrepreneurial.
So that was your main.
Absolutely.
You were already career oriented, and
Correct.
then you wanted to do. You were always at if I want something, I'll get it and I'll work for it. Something like that.
I think it was more like I'll work for it. I mean.
It was automatic.
Just that, we were taught never to be lazy. Or my mother was a professional doctor. And so she always had this in her goal that, never to lie down and never to take life easy. She used to herself work 12, 14 hours a day.
Okay.
She was a gynecologist, and
amazing.
So she used to get calls at different times of the day or night.
Okay.
And from my young days, I used to go with her. So because it was late night and then she couldn't drive alone, it would be a call from the doctor.
Okay.
My father would sometimes be away, or he would have work the next morning.
Right.
And but so I would then accompany her as the older boy and say, okay, I'll as the boy in the house, and then I'll come with you. So we were always taught that work came first, duty came first, and pleasure was later.
Amazing. That's the best statement that you have put across. So when it comes to post your MBA graduation and things, you joined as a management trainee.
Correct.
To a
Shriram
Group, right? And you started working with your brother
after that.
Alufit, maybe after that.
Yeah.
I just really wanted to know, after 9 months of your internship period, you really had a chance that, maybe you had mainly two paths. I can work and grow with my brother, or I just want to move out of that comfort zone and then start something on my own. What exactly happened in that phase? Please tell me about that.
I have to go back 4 decades, but I
Okay.
will. So the year was 1984. So I just about started working with him towards the end of 83.
Okay.
I'd done a year with Usha's as a management trainee. And like in every good and big family, they think that, brothers and families, once you get together, there's a greater potential
Right.
for growth and opportunity.
Mhm.
The same was suggested at home, and I thought I'll, join my brother and we together work and build a big organization. And that was my dream and that was my hope. So I did start training under him.
Okay.
And life seemed very good. But as sometimes happens, it's not ordained in the stars that you need to work together.
Right.
And we started having differences of opinion at work. 6 months down the line, and I at that time felt that I love my brother very much, like then, and I love him today. And I thought that if I continued in the present setup, I wouldn't have a business, and nor would I have a brother.
Right.
So the brother was more important for me and more the business, because that was something that he had started.
Right.
And I felt that if I had to maintain my personal relationship, the only way out for me was to exit.
Okay.
And because the friction was beginning to become a little, let's say, getting a little escalated, and relations were getting strained.
Right.
And that's when I decided that I'll move out and branch out on my own. So that's what really led me to, exiting.
Okay, that's really great. And after that phase of you exiting from the company of your where your brother was working in, or maybe your brother's entire setup, you could have actually worked for some other company, thinking that okay, I anyways have carried this experience, and I don't have to build my own empire. This is not something that everyone can seed inside their brain, and or maybe have a thought on it, because it shakes our entire body. Like, can I even? It's a great responsibility. I can't just frame in one statement. What made you? Really think of building your own empire, that too from scratch, not starting in between or something?
Good question. Yes, you're right. I was at a crossroad. I could have taken either path.
Right.
The easier path would have been one, either I stay back. But like I said, if I did, that would create another. I knew the future was not very good.
Okay.
It's going to be more of thorns on the road rather than roses. So I wasn't willing to take that path.
Okay.
The other was, of course, the easier one, that I was already a management graduate.
Okay.
I was young. I could pick up any job that I wanted to. I could have done it. But somehow deep down inside, I felt that, I had so much more to contribute.
Mm-hmm.
And my father's words kept ringing that whatever you do the best.
Okay.
And I felt that if I got into the corporate world and I worked, I would just get lost.
Right.
I had worked for a year as a management trainee, and then you get only one section, one department to work with. So I knew I'd be like a fish in a very small pond, but I'd be going all around the place.
Right.
But for me, I felt if I got into business, I'd be the same fish, but in the ocean. Right. And that would open my mind up to so many new ideas, so many new opportunities.
Right.
And I said, so let me get into business, and now that I've worked here.
Right.
And then the question came to me is that what business should I do? So I didn't have any knowledge, right?
Exactly.
So for what I'm talking to you all, it was in a matter of 24 hours, right? That, I quit.
Right.
And then I started thinking, now that I've quit, what do I do? Do I go back to working? Do I don't go back? So it took me a few hours to decide that I'm not going back to work.
Exactly.
I'll start something on my own. Then for a few hours, I debated, do I get into garments? I had friends in the garment industry. I said, should I do it? Should I do plastics? That seems a good potential. And somehow, one by one, I kind of eliminated those options, because I said, I don't know anything about garments. Right?
Correct.
And what will I do? I don't even know what it is. I've seen it from the outside.
Right.
Same thing with plastics. And then, like Eureka, like Archimedes got that thought. That the thought crossed my mind, and I said, "Hey, boy, you know aluminum, right?
Exactly.
Okay? So if you know aluminum, why don't you just do aluminum?"
Mm-hmm.
But then a guilt came in that if I did aluminum and I did it in Mumbai, and that's where I live with my brother,
right,
it wouldn't be fair, because I had trained under him. I didn't know the spelling of aluminum till I joined him.
Exactly.
I didn't know whether it started with, whether aluminum was with an IU or a UI.
Right.
I was that bad.
Right.
My knowledge was so poor. So I said, here I've trained under him. And, it wouldn't be right on my part to stab him in the back and start a company here. And so my mind was clear at the end of 24 hours that what I had to do, I had to move out of the city.
Okay.
And I had to find a new place to where I could go and start my own industry.
Okay.
And with that, in another 24 hours, I packed my bags and I left for what I now call Bharat Darshan. Because what I did was I went to each city for 3 days. I had identified 4 cities to kind of evaluate. So I started with Delhi, and then I went from there to Calcutta, and then to Chennai, which is in those days called Madras. And my final pit stop was Bangalore. And while I went to each city, I looked at the pros and the cons of what each city had to offer.
Right.
And Delhi was easy for me. I spoke the language, but then I was not very comfortable whether I'd be able to, gel in that setup.
Right.
Calcutta was not very promising. Chennai had its own limitations. But when I came to Bangalore, somehow it seemed like as if the city was welcoming me, and it still does today. To hundreds and hordes and thousands of people and lakhs of them from all over India and the world. So it had that same quality even 4 decades earlier.
Right.
So this was very welcoming. I met architects, I met consultants, I met, various developers in those 3-4 days that I was here. And I felt that this had the potential.
Okay.
And like they say, fortune favors the brave or the foolish.
Right.
One of those happened, and I decided to make Bangalore my home, right? And I just started out here. I'd never been here before except for those 3 days. So I went back. It was a completely new city for me.
Right.
Everything was new. I didn't speak the language. The local language. But like I said, the people were friendly, were inviting, and the architects were very encouraging. And I felt, if I could, create a home here, this would be the right place. And that's how I chose Bangalore. It was one of those things that just clicked.
You came into the Bangalore, now you have the Alufit, which is actually widely known. And then how exactly the Alufit started? So what is the time span that you took? You came into the Bangalore, yes. But immediately you may have not, you may have done ample number of, maybe case studies and then trial and errors or whatever it might be before starting Alufit. And then I really want to understand what is the time span that you took and what was the struggle that before building that empire, what was the struggle that went through? Who stood by you? And then it's that you are saying that it's the very first time you came into Bangalore. Sure. And I myself can't imagine moving out very next day out of my town, that to a new town, and then thinking of a great idea like this, that to starting everything from scratch. How things happen?
So actually, I don't know, maybe I'm very impulsive. I don't think too much, so that probably helped me in a way.
Okay.
So I didn't really do what you call a proper research or a proper, analysis that, like, is there potential in the city? What is the growth? How many buildings are coming up here? What's happening? We are talking 4 decades earlier. Okay. There's very little information available.
Right, I totally.
You just probably read the news, you heard it on Doordarshan, Bangalore's coming up, Ramakrishna Hegde, the Chief Minister, developing the city very much. So you read news and you say, okay, so you come here, you see the place, you see construction happening. So I said, okay, this seems to be a place where there will be potential.
Right.
And I had to move out quickly because I'd already made up my mind that I wanted to start something on my own. So so it was one of those decisions that I'd taken. And if I may just take a minute here to explain what, like I said, fortune favors the brave or the foolish. Right. Take it which way you like. But so during those 3 or 4 days when I was here in Bangalore and I was going to meet architects, one day I left my room. I was staying in a lodge on Double Road. Those who are from Bangalore will know where Double Road is. So I just jumped out of I was running late for a meeting and I left the lodge, and as I was running across the street, I wasn't looking in the other direction. And so I looked at an auto there and I wanted to catch it before I missed that. And as I did that, another vehicle which was coming in the other direction slammed its brakes, and I kind of just held back and I fell on the car. And I said, I am so very sorry. And the guy said, look where you're going. He said, yes, I'm
Yes.
sorry. So I allowed him to pass, and I looked where I was going, literally. I looked the other direction, and I saw the board of an architectural firm.
Okay.
And I thought to myself, listen, why don't I just go and say hello to this gentleman? Right? I'm going in for another meeting, but it's okay. Here's another architect.
Okay.
Who knows whether I get another chance or not? So I went up and I went to this architect's office, and I met him. His name was Mr. Sanat Kumar, I still remember. And I told him that, I'm very keen. I'm from Bombay. I want to set up business here. And will you give me an opportunity? And he said, nice to meet you, but I'm sorry, son. Yesterday there was somebody else from Bombay. We shook hands with him for a project. I said, listen, have you awarded him? Have you given him the orders? He said, no, we kind of said in principle. I said, so I really begged him and I pleaded. And I said, if you give me this opportunity, this will be my launching pad in Bangalore. So he felt sorry for me and he said, I can do only one thing. I can introduce you to the client and then it's up to you. I said, sure, that'd be great. Right. He said, but the clients are in Goa. So the clients of the Salgaonkar group. So I said, I don't mind. I'll go to Goa and meet them. He said, are you sure? I said, I'm very sure. So he said, okay. So he gave them a call and he said the same thing, that there's someone young, enthusiastic. He wants to build a business and I'd like you to meet him. Are you okay? I know we met somebody else yesterday. So they said, no, fine, send him across. And so I was lucky. They said, come across. I went to Goa. I met them. They liked me. They liked what I showed them. I had some samples with me. And they said, okay, let's meet in Bangalore. 2 weeks later, we're coming again. And I came to Bangalore and I got the order. Right? So that's how I got launched in a way. So it was a small order of 35,000 rupees in those days. And,
at those days, they are lakhs and crores at that time.
When they said that, what's the advance that you want? I said, can I have 5,000 rupees? They said, sure. So they were already writing the check. And they said, in what name? I didn't even have a company at that time.
Right.
So I took it my brother's company's name. And what we call outsourcing today, I did outsourcing 40 years ago. So I said, give me the name and give me the check in my brother's company's name. I went back to Bombay, I gave him the check and I said, brother, can you help me fabricate these windows and I'll go there and have it installed.
Exactly.
He was kind enough to say yes and that's how I got started. He made the windows, I put it on Patel roadways in the truck, came to Bangalore, got the goods cleared at the Kalasipalayam bus station or truck station, took it to the site, went to the market, went to buy glass, met some people there, got some fabricators, stood there, got the job done.
Okay.
And that's how I got started. That was really my beginning.
Started with Alufit. Once you started with Alufit, when did you name so? Like, why did you come up with Alufit? What is the reason behind Alufit? Is there any specific purpose?
So it was. So what happened is that ALU, I thought I'd keep for aluminium, right? Exactly. And FIT was like fittings in a way.
Understood.
So aluminium fittings just sounded rhymed very well. Alufit. So he said, okay, we'll make it Alufit.
Yes.
So, like I said, there wasn't much of thought that went in.
Right.
It was really to get going, to get off the ground. And let's start something. So what's a good name? So, I just came up with Alufit. It was like that.
Now that you have already started, let's say you've already started Alufit, the next step wouldn't have been easier for you.
Yeah, sure.
That is something that, at this point of time, there are many people, even now, who actually give up at that particular time. Like they start and then they're like, no, I'm not going to take this risk. I don't want to have anything I don't want to owe any debts or something like that. Where did that courage come from? What was it? Can you please explain that period? How exactly you were able
I have to give credit to my wife here. And my wife today is someone whom I was dating 7 years earlier.
Okay.
Like I said, I'm one of those people who start to do things early in life.
Great.
And so when I was 17, I proposed to her.
Okay.
Because her father was getting transferred.
Okay.
So I said, listen, we'll be together till the end. So it was so happened that then she got transferred to Delhi, came back to Bombay. So the relationship continued. And when I was taking this big plunge of moving from Mumbai to Bangalore,
Okay.
I told her, listen, I'll be going to Bangalore to set things up, but I'm not sure about tomorrow. I don't even know, whether we'll be able to,
Okay.
how I'm going to make two ends meet, because it's completely new. It's
Exactly.
it's as good as rocket science for me, going to a new city. And so I said, listen, you know what? Let me go. I'll settle things down. Then I'll come back for you.
Right.
Give me a year or two to get my bearings, and then we come. And she said something very nice. And she said, listen, I'd rather come with you now and struggle with you during these days. Sorry if I've got emotional, but yeah.
Please. Take your time.
So she said that, I'd rather be with you during the days now of your struggle rather than come later. So she took this important step and she joined me.
Okay.
And she's been my pillar of support ever since.
That's great. It's amazing.
Yeah.
So that is something.
So that gave me a
pillar.
further amount of confidence that, I could come and I had someone by my side. I wasn't all alone. And so we came in together. The first year was difficult. We had, almost 6 months. We had one meal a day. But then God was kind, just came out of the rut. And we were lucky enough to get established soon and get things started rolling.
Mm.
And then there's no looking back, right? Okay. So when you have a goal in front and you have an aim and you have a desire that this is what you want to do and you want to be the best in what you want to do in life, then you just go hammer and tongs. That's it.
Exactly. No matter what.
Yeah.
Just keep going.
Yeah.
That's something, very heart-touching thing.
Thank you.
So, post that everything got settled and then the company has come to the certain level. What is the very next thing that, this is the philosophy behind, maybe with a relationship that you started building with your client, and how easy or hard was it for you to get in touch with maybe the marketing things? So how exactly that, manpower within your things, was it something that you were handling everything all alone, or how exactly diverted into the different verticals? And then what was the main philosophy?
See, I think the main
this is what
culture.
my company.
See, what we wanted to create and establish was that we're going to be an honest, sincere, hardworking, truthful company.
Right.
And I think that was my ethos.
Okay.
Right. I want to, every day when I wake up in the morning, I want to be happy at the face I look at. Right. I should be proud of myself.
Right.
I don't want to ever look into the mirror and have to look down. And I think that was my main, that really allows me even today to do what I want to do.
Okay.
Because I'm never ashamed of what I've done, because I've never done any wrong. At least knowingly, I haven't done anything wrong. Right? I mean, I believe in a cause, I believe in something, and I go ahead and do it. Right? So the point was that for my clients at the same time, if a client would tell me, listen, I'm giving you this building, but I'd like this over in 9 months. And if I thought that it would take 15 months, I'd tell them, listen, it'll take 15 months.
Right.
There are times where I had to walk away from an order.
Right.
But I stand by what I say, because I don't want to fool you. I don't want to take an order and say, 9 months, sir, we'll do it in 9 months, let it be, and then take another few months to complete it, because you've given me with a certain amount of trust. Yeah. And that is the trust that I have to repay back.
Okay.
And maybe you don't understand that it takes 15 months to do it, because there's you've got to do shop drawings, you need to do dye, you've got to develop dyes, you need to take it to test, the building has to come up, construction has to happen, we need to produce, we need to install, so it takes a whole series, right? But if you don't understand that it's going to take that kind of time, and then, I also promise you, which is something that's untrue, that's not exactly right. Mm-hmm. So we never ever let anybody down. Whatever we committed, we did. And yes, there may be times when if I said I'll give it to you on Monday, I was not ready by Monday. We were ready by Thursday.
Right.
But I didn't take the client for granted and said, Monday or Thursday, kya fark padta? 2-3 days. Right. I would call the client earlier and say, listen, sir, I'm so sorry. We told you Monday, but it's not happening on Monday. We need 2 more days because it got delayed, and let's say in the anodizing or in the production or in getting the glass. But Thursday, I'll definitely start.
Yeah.
As long as you keep that communication alive and you keep the interactions, and I think that's what's kept us, ahead of the tribe. That the communication with the client, being available at all times, 24/7, being sincere at your work, never compromising on quality or delivery, not cheating when it comes to materials. If you say this is 1.5 mm, you give 1.5 mm, not 1.4. Give 1.6 if required, but not less, right? And I think over a period of time, when you do it consistently, like they say, one swallow does not a summer make. It's 1,000 swallows that come, and then you say, oh, now this is summer. So I think the same thing happened with us. The first time people thought it's a fluke. He's saying it. It's the second time, third time. But once you do it consistently over a period of time, and like we've been doing it, after a few years, they started believing that, when Keswani says he'll deliver it on this day, he will. Right. When he says that this is what's coming and the goods, it'll come. Right. And I think that's what's kept us a little ahead of the pack, if you ask.
Correct. Amazing. That seems to be very, your entire foundation is built with trust and the compassion or whatever. So maybe that's the reason, over the decades and decades, you're still able to, maybe thousands of competitions have come into the market. And that is one more question, like, how are you able to, many builders are there, many steel companies are there, how were you able to existing in the market? That too with the competition is very difficult. Like, this is one more challenging part. So how were you able to manage with these things? Maybe once Alufit was completely having a succession in business and things.
What happens is that, one has to be totally focused and dedicated at what one's doing.
Right.
And I think that focus and dedication brings results.
Exactly.
Very often on the path, you get distracted. There are lots of doubting Thomases which will tell you this won't happen. True. You're just, you're running behind a lost cause. So they'll always be there. But you must learn to shut out the noise.
Okay.
And if you shut out the noise, then everything else is easy.
Right?
Because when you start listening to all the noise around you, it's not always very pleasant.
Okay.
And I learned very early how to shut it out. And I just went single-handedly towards my goal.
Okay.
And, and the team that I developed and that we created, right, they all believed in the same thing. I strongly believe that we all had, I used to pick up unpolished diamonds, right, and then polish them, right, and then they stayed with me.
Exactly.
And then you can see how this has moved into a 1 carat, 2 carat, 5 carat over a period of time. So what we have in our offices and our factories are all 5 and 10 carat diamonds today.
Amazing.
Right?
Amazing.
They've all been done. They've all developed their own skill sets and built and done. They all feel this is Alufit. They're all a part of Alufit. I'm not just one person.
Of course,
right?
it's a family.
I'm only an individual. It's now 3,000 people who work together. And the 3,000 people believe it's their company and that's what they do.
Right.
So it's made my life very easy.
Very strong foundation.
As chairman, I don't have much to do. It's for them to do the job and they do it brilliantly. So that's it.
They all are your children. Like, you are someone who is a big shadow for them that, yes, I'm someone who is built with trust no matter what. I'm not crossing my boundaries and things. Same has been passed on to your employees, or maybe, I don't want to call it as employees, maybe part of your family.
My team, yeah.
Your team. And to the people who are watching this episode, I really wanted to ask you, what is something that for today's aspiring entrepreneurs, the business or maybe the future builders and things, what would you like to pass on the message to the youth or maybe aspiring people?
If I had to really sum it up, I'd say that, there's no shortcut to success.
Perfect.
Right? We're in this day and age today, we hear a lot of stories about people overnight becoming successes. Right? But what nobody sees is that for one success up, there are more than 10,000 failures below.
Exactly.
Right? So so and the real business is at the grassroots level. There's
Right.
no, unless you graze your knees and your elbows and your arms and you crawl your way up,
Right.
there's no easy staircase up to go there.
Right.
You look at Mount Everest, right?
Right. Right.
How do you actually go there? There may be many ways to climb, but you still got to grind your way up, right? So I think reaching the top, the pinnacle of your business in any which industry that you are, requires a lot of hard work, grit, and determination.
Right.
Right? And I think that's what I'd like to tell the youth. These are the three cornerstone qualities that you must always have.
Okay.
I still remember when I was young, my younger days, and I would be invited.
Okay.
And invariably my work would keep me late, and I'd finish, and I'd go very late to these parties. And friends would ask me, what do you do for so long, and why do you come so late?
Okay.
Right? And I said, listen, I'm busy at work. And they'd say, but how can you be so busy? I said, listen, I made a commitment. We've got jobs to finish, so we're trying to close and I'll be there. But I would always tell them, but for me, work is worship and work is my duty. It's like, I've come to you for your party when I've finished work. But if my office calls, I'll go there, right? I might leave a party to go to work, but I'll never leave work to come to a party.
Exactly.
Right? So when I finish my work, then I come there.
Right.
So I think this is what the youth of today should believe. I know we talk about work-life balance. It's all there. But I think when you have something to do and then you have a mission and you have a goal, that goal can't be achieved with a work-life balance. You have a goal, you have a thing, you've got to either go all out. I'm more of the Narayan Murthy style of people, right, who believe in the 60, 70-hour weeks.
Exactly.
Yeah, people talk about 30 and 40 hours. Well, I'm not an advocate of that. I think, it's okay if you just want to go through and pass through life, that's fine. But, the real achievement and the satisfaction really comes when you're out there in the middle, when you're fighting it out, fighting it tooth and nail, and then building something and building your enterprise.
Thank you so much, sir. But I hope the audience who are watching this will definitely learn how exactly to wait. Not just waiting, maybe do not mind for the results. Keep trying, keep going on. Definitely, one will have that fruit or whatever. So, thank you so much.
My pleasure.